Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. Today I am doing a stitch along project that's being run by another YouTuber, Sally from Dotty Vintage. I will put her link to her channel. And what we're doing is we're making a sampler, a slow stitched sampler, I can't say it, in the style of the vintage cross stitch ones that you see, but we're going to do it in a slow stitch style. I've got a couple of books that I've picked up from a charity shops just to give me some ideas alongside what the prompts are from Sally. So this just gives you a bit of a layout. So I've had a flick through. This is a Dutch sampler with lots of different embroidery ideas of the house, etc. Because Sally's doing it over a 6-week period and giving us a prompt each week. So the first week was to do the base, which I've done. I'll just show you here. So it's a collage of different linens and cottons. So we did sort of patchworked it and stitched it on a backing fabric. I've done mine, my size is 20 by 20 inches by 20, so it's a square, and we've also now done a border of scrap pieces of fabric. So I've selected different fabrics and I've sewn them overlapping the back, so it's got a border all around it. And what I've done is I've included some vintage cross stitches that I collected on. They were on part of a tablecloth, so I've just put them on the bottom, on the edge, and on the side here. You could tea dye it to make it a little bit more vintage looking, but I was quite happy with those, part of the design. I don't know if you can see it. It's quite a big piece, so you can't see everything on camera. So that's the background. So that's what we did as preparation. And the first prompt is to do a house. So I've had a look through this book here. This is the Embroiderers Guild book, and it's got a selection of vintage cross stitch samplers, and then the patterns of how to do that. So I'm just using a little bit of inspiration of where they're putting things. So I've just bookmarked a couple. This is a house and garden one. So you can see that they have the house in the middle, and they've done some different borders. I know that we're going to include an alphabet and a proverb and saying and future prompts. So this week we're just concentrating on the house. It's got some old antique samplers. That was lovely. And it's just nice to see the colours. Obviously they faded through time, but it's nice to see colours that go together well, and different layouts. I liked this one. This is a more modern. And it's nice to put the date on, so I will include a date and my name. I've recently moved into this house, actually a year ago today. So I might put the date that we moved into this property. So yeah, so to make it a little bit more personal. So it was interesting just going through the book. So I've had a look through some of my fabric stashes and need to sort of audition up what works well. Now Sally's done some stripes. So you need a base, the main part of the building, the house, and a roof. And that's what we're doing at the moment, and adding on chimneys and windows, doors. So I quite liked this one here, It's too big at the moment, but you can sort of make it your size. So I quite liked this one. I thought that looked quite nice as a roof. So I like that one. This one I thought was too much like the background colours. So I'm not going to choose that one. So it was between this one. I found some stripies as well. I quite like that. But what I think I'm going to go with is this one here. Just a scrap that I've got. It's just some quilting fabric. So I think I might go with this one. And I quite liked, I've got these are like fabric samples, so they've got numbers on the back and a bit of glue, but I think they'll be fine for slow stitching. So I've looked at I've got quite a few different styles, which I thought would be quite good for a roof. But I think I'm going to go with this one. I quite like that combination together. It's difficult, isn't it? The more you look at it, you think, oh, am I making the right decision? Or is it this one? I just didn't know if it was too busy with all the flowers. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a plainer one. And then I can put some details in. So I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to pin it down. I'll be back in a moment. Right, so I've just sort of auditioned up the side. I think that's going to be okay. That leaves some space. I want to do the alphabet at the top and the saying at the bottom here. So I'm just going to cut this bit off here. And keep your scraps for other things. I think that placement there will be good. So I'm going to pin that one down. I didn't have my light on. Okay, I keep forgetting to put the light on. So, okay, I'm going to pin it down and I'm going to just tack it down, invisible stitch it down with a neutral thread. Excuse the noise outside, but it's I think the first mow of the new season. Spring sprung in England. I'm just going to stitch this down. I'm just going to use a small overstitch. You could turn the edges over, but I quite like raw edges. I've turned the edges over on the base fabrics, but I'm just going to keep the edges raw on the things I put on top. So I'm just going to carry on doing that off camera all around, and then we'll pop the roof on. Okay, so I've cut out the roof and I'm just sewing around it now, just with some overcast stitches. I like this fabric because I think it looks like roof tiles, or could be like a thatch, couldn't it? So I'm just stitching this on. Bits of paper stuck on the back of this fabric. I should have probably picked it off, but I think it'll be okay. So I don't know if we're going to add details to the house as we move along the prompts, but maybe you could put flowers around the door or something. So I think we're just going to this week just sort of put in the main details. the chimneys and doors and windows. You could put fabric chimney pots. I think I might just stitch mine, see what it looks like when I finish the roof. I'll run out of thread in a moment. You could do it in a matching thread if you don't want to see your stitches, but I think these samplers look quite good when they're rustic, so that's my excuse anyway. I'll be neater when I do the alphabet. You could put a backing on once you've done it, if you don't want to see your stitches on the back. I want to hang this on the back of my door, so I might do a backing to it. That's what it's looking so far. A bit wobbly, not too straight, but that's the beauty of slow stitch, doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just trying to think now, what colour thread should I use for the windows and door? My borders are all different colours, different fabrics. Some are old and some are new, so I think I've covered most colours in the border. Yep. I think I might do red, that traditional red that you use in red work. I think that will look nice, and I think it will pick up some of the colour on the roof, because my main house is a pale colour. I think it will pop with a bit of a brighter red. I think we're going to outline the house as well, give it a bit more dimension. Okay, that's the roof stitched down. So I'm going to draw out the next part, the elements, onto the fabric. I'm going to use a friction pen. I like these because you can just iron them off if you make a mistake and change your mind. So let's have a look. I'm trying to think where the centre line is, so I'm going to do like a round door like that. Sorry about the noise. traditional looking window. It's a shame that rose is there. Work with it. Traditional looking house I'm going for. 4 windows and a door. Do the door frame. So you can see that on camera. And then should we have 1 or 2 chimney pots? I think we can have 2. And I think I'm going to use this perlé thread here. It's a number 12. I quite like the thickness of this, but we'll see what it looks like once I've stitched. I'm just going to do a back stitch, but if it's not standing out enough, I will go back over it and do it again. I think that's called a double back stitch. So that's what I'll do. There's my needle. Collect all my little threads in my little bowl. Okay. This will be a nice contrast to the background colour. Just follow the drawing lines. And I think I probably will outline the outside edge of the house as well and the roof. I might do 2 sets of it, 2 rows, just to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to carry on sewing off camera and I'll come back in a bit. Okay, so I've stitched down the house and the roof, and I've put the windows in. I've done a door. I've added a little red step because my mum used to always have a red painted doorstep, so I wanted to put something. I might actually put the house number on it and have this as like my childhood house. So I'm just going around now, outlining the house just with a back stitch all the way around and the roof, and I've done the 2 chimney pots, and I've put some lines on the chimney pots just to sort of represent bricks really. So I might just put that on the house as well, just a few lines. So I'm doing quite big stitches. I'm not making it too neat, and I'm not doing it on top of the fabric. I'm just doing it next to it so that it's clear enough that it's an outline. Otherwise it just sort of vanishes into the fabric. And I only actually did one thread of back stitch around the windows and everything. I think it shows up enough. I was going to do a double back stitch, but I think I'm okay with just the single line of stitching. So it might be that we come back once we've done some more of the elements during the prompts and put some more features into the house. I thought you could might put window boxes, or just see how elaborate you want it to be. I know that Dotty B has done other projects with houses, which I'm going to have a go at. But this is a different kind. It's going to be a sampler, so we'll see what the prompts show us. I think the next week is we've got to do a verse or a proverb. So I'm going to look into that and see what I want to put. So I'm just putting a few dashes. I was going to drag my thread across, but I'm not going to. I'll just do some more on the other side of the house. It's been fun. It's been nice to stitch through the layers of the background. I've enjoyed doing this. So I think it's weekly prompts. So I'm just doing brick marks dotted around. Give it some features on the top. They're just straight stitches. I think that's all I'm going to do for my house. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy doing a similar house, and I'll see you back soon. Thank you.